What's up, guys?
Hello.
Hey, we just want to talk to you guys. We get a lot of questions from you guys from working abs and how do we develop a strong core, and how do I make my waist look smaller, and things along those lines. So we just wanted to hop on really quick and make this video for you guys to kind of answer some of those questions and give you some ideas on how not only can you actually make your waist smaller, but kind of give yourself that appearance of a smaller waist by working and building other muscle groups. So we're just going to kind of go through some of those. We're not going to demonstrate anything. We'll just list some of the stuff that we talk about in the description of the video when we put it up. That way you guys can just reference it and not have to watch the whole thing if you don't have time to do that. So we'll go and get started right into it on how to do that. Obviously, first and foremost, the biggest thing is making sure your nutrition is on point. We talk about that all the time. I know Barbie hounds you guys about getting in proper nutrition, making sure that you're not only eating enough food, but that you're eating the right amounts of food, or the right kinds of food, and also making sure you're not eating too much food. So you kind of got to have that fine line, making sure that your meals are spread out and that you're eating your, she pushes for the 6 meals. If you can at least get in 5, at the very minimum, you should be okay. But also not just jumping into that if you're not used to having those, more frequent meals. If you're used to having, a lot of people, the reality is you're used to having 1 or 2 meals a day, which is kind of crazy. But a lot of people come to us and that's their starting point, which is totally fine. I've been there. I imagine you've probably been there at some point.
I have crazy busy days where I'll have 2 meals and then I'm ravenous at the end of the night. I correct myself and I don't let that continue because of the knowledge I have. But many people, that's their lifestyle every day for months on end, maybe years on end.
Yep.
So it takes time to gradually add in those meals and get up to where you need to be for proper nutrition.
Guys, that can take a while too. So I know, some people, they can, they start at 1 or 2 meals and they're able to add an additional meal every day until they're up to their 5 or 6 meals. Some people, that has to be,
2 months.
dragged out a lot longer, and you maybe add another meal. This week you're going to focus on getting your 2 meals because you normally have 1. So you're going to have 2 meals a day for this week. You're going to see how you feel. Maybe talk to one of us. We can kind of coach you through some of it. And if you're feeling good, then we're going to push and we're going to add that 3rd meal in it. You might take it 1 week at a time. You might take it 2 weeks at a time. Some people aren't able to do that. I do pretty okay with being able to just jump into it, and I can just throw it in because I know that it needs to be done. So it's all about that mindset too. My body's going to feel a lot better if I'm chopping up all of my calories into 6 meals instead of sitting down and being like, all right, I got to scramble because my body still needs those calories.
Your digestive system is going to appreciate that as well. So
Absolutely.
That's why it's spread out in so many meals. It's not like some magic number. The whole point is that you're having smaller amounts of nutrition periodically throughout the day, so that way your digestive system is continuously going and not getting overrun with a large amount of food at one time.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's the first and foremost when you guys are working on shaping your body and getting that figure that you want, males or females. We all have a figure that we're after, so it applies to both of you. But nutrition. Otherwise, anything else that we talk about next, you can, just disregard if your nutrition's not on. You've got to be eating right, because you can be, we can give you all these great exercises, and this is just real quick. This is the workout that we're going to be doing. There's a lot, it's backwards, but as you can see, there's a lot of stuff on there. That's your workout, and there's a lot of good stuff on there, a lot of great exercises that are going to develop the upper body and can help give you that width. We've got lateral raises on there, things that are working the back and giving width on the back, things that are going to give you that illusion of a smaller waist and really help give you that hourglass figure, especially for the women. But if you're not eating right to refuel your body and to repair those muscles, then it doesn't matter. They're not going to grow back stronger. They're not going to reshape. Nothing's going to change. So you have to get your nutrition on, and that's why we talk about it so much. We can give you all these extras that we want. Believe me, we could probably make hundreds of videos on extras. Okay, that would be a lot of work, and we would love to do that for you guys. But we know that if you're not eating healthy and eating right and getting the calories, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's all going to be to waste. It's still good for you to work out, but you're not going to reshape like a lot of you are looking for. So I think that's it. We won't get into too much on the actual nutrition, but what you should be eating and how, because I think we did that in another video. And we can always do more videos on that as well if you guys have more questions. But we'll kind of get into different movements, and we'll kind of want to work our way down.
Yeah.
We can just start at the
So,
top. So obviously shoulders.
The biggest thing I want to hit too, before we jump into what exercises develop what parts of the body, like we said, number one, nutrition. No matter what, you cannot outwork your fork. Number two, doing abs is not going to give you abs. Okay, you're building a muscle. Working a muscle builds the muscle. Abs are no different than biceps or chest or quads or glutes or anything like that. So if you overwork them, they are going to grow, which essentially is going to give you a bigger, thicker waist. Okay? Let that sink in for a minute. A thicker waist. I know I get questions all the time. Can you give us more ab videos? Can you give us more ab videos? Yeah, you know, guys, when we're doing kickboxing and the abs that we have worked in the class organically is enough. You truly don't need to do extra abs.
Yeah. Especially the direct ab work we do on like lower body days. Some instructors like to throw ab work on upper body days. We're constantly pounding. The abs are getting plenty of work.
And your core is engaged when you're kickboxing. So all of that's tight. You're twisting, you're turning, you're doing plenty. I promise. And then number two, and this is what I cannot stress enough, obliques. Stop training obliques. Okay? We do so much oblique work with our hooks and our punches, and we're twisting and we're turning. We don't need any more. That's what's going to make your waist go from this to this.
If you guys ever watch, we were just talking about this before we hopped on here, like gymnasts, who like tumblers and things like that, they train their obliques and their core so much. So if you look at the figure, they have kind of a straight, they don't have much of a figure. It's straight, and that's fine. That's what they're training for. Yep. So if that's the figure you want, by all means, we will give you all the obliques and all the ab work that you want. But if that's not the figure you want, then stop. Stop. Okay. It's good to train your abs. It's good to have that fundamental strength there. And you do have to build them to a point in order for them to show. You know, you don't want to just be skinny and have no definition. So it is good to train, but you don't want to overtrain either.
The biggest misconception, and I hear it a lot in the gym, is, well, I want to get rid of my love handle. So they're training obliques, and doing side crunches and bends. It's like, it doesn't work like that. You can't train fat or train muscle to get rid of fat. Getting rid of fat is strictly nutrition and cardio. Mm-hmm. Okay, building muscle is a different aspect of it. Yes, we do them hand in hand because it's going to create the body shape that we want. So stop training obliques is number two. Good nutrition. Number two, stop training obliques. Number three is training the muscles in the right spots of your body to create that shape. So if you want a smaller waist or you want the illusion of a smaller waist, you have to build up your upper body and build out your lower body. So no, not with bad food, muscle, okay? So we wanna work those lats, we wanna work those shoulders. So that way you have that little taper coming in. And then we wanna work the glutes and the quads, that outer sweep of those glutes and those quads, so you have that shape that you want. Male or female, everybody wants a nice back, a nice tapered waist, you want that shape. That's essentially what we're going for.
Yep. So things you guys can do, and we'll just kind of start at the top and work our way down. Guys, they're very basic stuff. We don't have any, there's no like secrets here. It's all common exercises that, you know, bodybuilders and figure competitors, they're all doing, and that's why they have the shapes that they do. Now, we're not saying that if you do these, you're gonna blow up like they are. That's just, that's not gonna happen.
Again, I wish it did.
She is trying to do that. So it takes time, okay? So just because we give you these exercises and we give you the sets and reps that you guys can play around with, doesn't mean that you're just gonna blow up and all of a sudden have that shape. It takes years and years. You know, some of you are a little bit more genetically gifted than others, and you'll get there a little bit quicker. I naturally have a pretty well-developed back. So to me, it's easy. I can get a good mind-to-muscle connection when I'm working. So we all have one, that muscle group that we can just really hone into and get a great pump, get a good workout. So kind of starting from the top down with the shoulders, a great one, and we did in our extras today, is lateral raises. Shoulders, especially the lateral head. So there's three heads. You got the front, the lateral, and then the back. And we hit all three of them all the time here. Kickboxing, we target them on upper body day. So we target them all the time. But if you're really wanting to develop, I'm working on developing the lateral head of my shoulder to get kind of a little bit wider frame up top. lateral raises, upright rows with a wider grip. So don't come in close here. You'll come out a little bit wider and pull up. Okay, and then obviously your lateral raises coming out to the side. That's going to help build and develop the thickness on the outside of the shoulder. And again, it's going to come down and make it look like you have a little bit smaller waist while you are working on, cutting some of that fat and things like that.
So my tip on that is to focus. We keep talking about mind-muscle connection. It's very important to focus on that muscle. A common mistake for shoulders is we kind of scrunch and then we end up using our traps. A lot of people will train shoulders improperly, and that's why, Josh touched on it today, keeping that arm a little soft when you're doing those lateral raises instead of like straight out, because if you flex and you're straight out and you're locked and you're tight, you're automatically going to feel that all the way up in your neck. That is a good sign that you are using your traps and not your lateral head of your shoulder.
Don't get us wrong, traps are great to work, but if you guys are working specifically for what we're talking about, you're trying to shape your body, really, like she just said, keep the arm soft at the elbow and just hinge at the shoulder, and you don't need to come any higher than right here. This is it. Okay, here you're really starting to work into that trap. You're starting to shrug up. Okay, so stop right here, squeeze it for a moment, and then let it down slow. That's the most important part of the movement. Okay, that's the strongest part of the movement. So challenge yourself not to just let it drop. Okay, come up here, hold it, and down slow. Okay, bring it back up and down slow. All right. You'll see a lot of competitive bodybuilders and figure competitors. They will train what's called the negative part of the movement, and they'll do negative reps. So basically what that means is they're going to, like on a bicep curl, maybe they're doing a single arm bicep curl, they're going to assist that side and then they're going to bring it down. So doing things like that just to get a little bit extra tear in the muscle, so that again, with your nutrition, it's going to help rebuild those stronger. So you can do things like that with the shoulder as well. Getting that negative, really focusing on bringing it down slow and controlled. So those are really good ones. The upright row with a wide grip and lateral raise, those are going to help develop the shoulder. I think then we'll go into kind of some back movements, which we don't do a lot of width back movements. We do a lot of thickness stuff with our rows, but to get into the width and building out those lats, you got to kind of go into things like pull downs, which we've demonstrated. I don't think I've got that video up, but things like pull-ups. Guys, you guys can get like a door frame pull-up bar. They're fine, they're great, okay? You can get something like that and do it at home as well.
I know about half of you are probably going pull-ups. Yeah, right. Here's your tip on that. Work that negative. Mm-hmm. So keep a wide grip. A lot of times when you narrow and you reverse, so you have an internal grip, you're using more bicep. If you come out wide, you're going to hit that width, the width on your back, your lateral muscles. So pull up, hold, and then slowly release. Yeah. That way you're able to work that muscle, but you don't have to actually pull your weight up. So that is a great way to start getting better at pull-ups if you can't do one.
Without doing the pull-up. Without
having to do it. So you use a bench or whatever you have to, get yourself all the way up there and hold it for, I like to do like 5-10 seconds and then release a little bit, 5-10 seconds, release a little bit until I'm down. And you can really feel that muscle. Focus on it, make sure that you're using it and not your biceps.
The back is a tough muscle to get into. I know we've talked about that before. So doing more and more of it is only going to help to constantly get in there. The repetition, just, swimmers swim. You want to get better at swimming, you swim every day. You want to get better at basketball, you play basketball every day. If you want to get better at building your back, work your back. I'm not saying you need to work your back every day, no. But train your back and focus on it. Maybe do more repetitions when you're first starting out, and until you can really start to feel that burn in the muscle. So
pull-ups are such a great exercise. Mm-hmm. Period. No matter what your goals are, they are a wonderful, wonderful exercise for your body. They are very difficult. It's a combination of two things that make it difficult. One, upper body is usually a little weaker and it's hard. And if you're lower body dominant, which most women are, that means most of your muscles in your lower body and not in your upper, which makes it even harder because you're using the smaller upper body muscles to pull your heavy lower body up. Now, as you're getting stronger, working that back and upper body, and you're losing fat, So you're able to pull more weight because you're stronger, and you're losing weight because you're burning fat. One day, miraculously, you're going to be like, holy crap, I just did 4. Because it just suddenly happens because your upper body strength surpassed the amount of weight that you're losing and what you weigh that you're actually pulling up.
Yep. So far exercises, upper body, you've got lateral raises and upright rows to build the outer head of the shoulder, and then you've got pull downs, and we didn't really talk about how you can do pull downs, but if you guys have resistance bands, just try and find something that you can anchor it on up top. They have, I'll see if I can find a link to put either in the comments or in the description, but on like Amazon, you can buy these little door anchors, and you basically just hook your resistance band through it, you put it in the door, shut the door, and then you can sit down and you can do pull downs, or if you have a pull-up bar or something you can do pull-ups on. Pull-ups are a great option, especially doing that negative part of the repetition. So just doing things like that to train it. Things like pull-ups, guys, don't be afraid to do those every day. You know, body weight movements, push-ups we do all the time, just like we do sit-ups. So things like that are great. Going down, we're gonna skip abs because we already talked about how training abs is not necessarily the way to get abs. Most of you guys have trained your abs enough, especially if you've been members. Yeah, your abs are there, okay? Believe us, your abs are there, so we gotta dig for them now. So that's doing things like your cardio and getting your nutrition on. So that's where the kickboxing comes in, and then getting in those 6 meals a day. So make sure you guys are doing that. But we'll skip the abs. We'll go down into the legs and the glutes. If you want to talk a little bit about like squats and things like that.
I will always, you saw our glute video that we posted. It talks about hitting the different parts of the glute, just like we talk about hitting the different parts of the shoulder. There are different muscles in each muscle group. So if you say, oh, we're hitting glutes, you don't want to just hit the medial glute. You want to hit the outer sweep. You want to hit all the different parts of that muscle to create the roundness. That's why I really, really love fire hydrants that are banded. That way you have some resistance and some strength behind it. So that way you're hitting that glute, you're hitting that outer glute, and you're really working that shape and that roundness of that body. Quads, again, we do a lot of leg extensions, but vary that toe position. So if you bring that toe in leg extension, bring that toe out and leg extension. So you're gonna hit the different muscles in that quad so you can feel the difference.
Absolutely.
Quad, 4 muscles. Quad. Yeah. 4 muscles.
Crazy. I like to do, when I'm really trying to focus, normally I would do this on like a leg press at a different facility, but you guys obviously don't have a leg press here. So doing like a narrow stance squat, to me, that really helps. I can really feel that in the outer sweep. You're bringing the legs in just a little bit closer. Sometimes I'll do that with you guys, so just bring them in like shoulder width. Your squat's not gonna be as deep, and that's okay, but you're still burning that. You can still do it with a resistance band or holding dumbbells, and that's gonna really hit the outer sweep of the quads to, again, kind of build from the bottom, and now you're gonna really start to make it look like you're bringing in that waist.
So it's all about varying that position. So
Yep.
Squats, glute work, you want to hit the different heads. Hamstrings are pretty easy. You're just hitting them. You're either hitting upper or lower hamstrings. But quads, you have all those 4 muscles that sweep in vertically. So you have to hit all the different parts, and same with the glutes.
Yep.
So if those narrow squats are something that's, challenging, I know personally, it's a challenge. So I like to either use a bench or a chair, anything like that, as kind of like my oops, just in case I need it. So I have it below my bottom, and it's there to catch me if I need it. That way, I usually don't need it, I'm fine, but it gives me that security that I'm not just gonna fall down on my butt. So definitely do that. I know I've talked with many of you in class when your squats aren't getting to parallel, to use the base of the bag and like squat to the base of the bag in kickboxing. Anything that will help you feel more secure, to help you progress and get there, is 100% okay. And feel free to send us a message and ask for help. Like, take a little video of your squat and send it to us.
Absolutely. Other than that, guys, it's hitting those. Like I said, hitting your lateral raises, your upright rows, the pull downs or pull ups. Making sure you're working your glutes. That glute video that Barbie put together, was that a week or 2 ago now?
Yeah.
It was a while
We've
ago.
lost track of time.
It's somewhere.
Yeah.
It's somewhere out there. But doing things like that, training your glutes more, doing more donkey kicks, doing those fire hydrants, varying the rep range too. We don't always notice, we never in class, we don't just stick with classic count. We don't just do 16 reps for an entire 10 weeks. We used to, and then we realized that, wow, we're missing out on the big picture here. And we need to start varying those rep ranges because there's a benefit to doing that. There's a benefit to doing lower reps. Our density set, we do lower reps and it allows us to really go heavy and really pound and dig into that muscle. Okay. So varying that up, if it's,
With
I don't
that
know what the
being
rep range is
said,
today. So
it's 12 today.
12. So like today we're doing, spoiler for you, we're doing 12 reps. So we're going a little bit lower on the reps for our upper body workouts. So if you guys decide afterwards you want to hit some extras for upper body, do higher reps. Hit the muscle fibers a little bit differently. You guys can go through and pick a couple of the exercises that we do for upper body and target them. Maybe you want to hit shoulders more. I personally try and hit shoulders multiple times per week, especially with lateral raises. So don't be afraid to do that. And if you guys have multiple muscle groups that you're wanting to bring up, do not try and bring them all up at the same time. Okay, train them all, work them all, but pick one. Okay, for me, I want to work on my shoulders right now, so I'm training all of my upper body. Okay, I'm training my legs, but I take a little bit of time, 3 or 4 times a week, and I'll, pump out 100 reps on lateral raises, just to help bring it up. You're not going to overtrain. If your nutrition is where it needs to be, you will be just fine. Okay. Anything else?
Good point on rep range and banding up and really breaking that muscle down. Now, a lot of times I will say, oh, it's our density set. We're going to do 10 reps. We're going to go through it, blah, blah, blah. I see people go up maybe 1 color, 2 colors. You need to go up as high as you possibly can while keeping proper form.
Yep.
Form is always first, but if you can do all 10 of those, you are not in the correct color. Your
Right.
goal should be like 7 or 8, and at some point you should be like, buckets, I'm done.
Absolutely.
Because then that muscle gets a break and you go on to something else. If you can finish that whole set, you didn't work hard enough. The
Yep.
last couple reps should always be a struggle, no matter how many reps we're doing. If we're doing a set of 10 or a set of 16, that band strength that you're using should be an absolute struggle by the time you get to the end.
On that, I wanted to grab these. So I've got a blue and a purple band, which a lot of you are afraid of. We'll just lay those there. So kind of to piggyback off what Barbie just said, it's okay to hit failure. That's what you want. That means you're tearing down your muscles, and now you get the opportunity to fuel them so they can grow back stronger, and that's what we're looking for. If you don't hit failure, you're not tearing down your muscle fibers enough. Okay? You've got to hit failure. Okay? Just like riding a bike. You don't know if you can ride a bike until you get on a bike and try and ride the bike. You don't know if you can do a blue band or a purple band until you pick it up and try it. Pick it up and try it. Okay? I don't care if we tell you we're doing 16 or 100 reps. Okay? Pick it up and try it. And if you get out 3 or 4, okay, great. You just did 3 or 4 reps on a band that you thought you couldn't even do. That is awesome. Okay? And then all you do is you have 2 options. You either rest for a rep or 2 and you get out another one, rest for a rep or 2, get out another one, or you have the option to drop. But you tried it, and now continue to try it. I did 4 reps today on our set of 16. So next week when you do this, I'm gonna try and get 5 reps. I'm gonna try and get 6 reps. And you just build it. Same thing we talked about with nutrition. If you're starting with 1 meal, now we're gonna go to 2 meals. Okay, then we're gonna wait a little bit. Now we're gonna try and go to 3. Guys, everything builds. They're all building blocks, they're all stepping stones. And you have to take those small victories. Okay? Don't look at, I only got 4 reps out of 16 as being defeated. That's awesome. That's what we want. I can't tell you how many times I'm working out and I had full intentions of getting 16 reps and I hit failure at between 4 and 6 and I'm just smoked and you guys are still going and we've got 32 more reps to go. But you just got to keep going, guys. That's okay. Like, that's what we want. We do never expect, we don't want you guys to get every single rep. That means you're not pushing yourself enough. We want you to hit failure. We want you to get those heavier bands. Those are other successes and other wins that you can have besides just the scale and besides the inches coming off. You know, guys, that's a win.
Yeah.
If you walk out of the doors, you know, or you right now you guys are at home, if that video ends and you only got 4 reps on a band that you've never used before, that's awesome. That's the stuff that we're looking for. So, quick kind of recap. Did you have anything else to say?
Yeah, this is, we're going back and forth and the video's getting a little longer than we wanted. But when we talk about goals, this is what we're talking about. We talk about having those small goals along the way to that big picture goal. So you're like, okay, maybe I want to wear, you know, this dress on my vacation to Mexico in October. Okay, that's a great goal. But let's make these other goals along the way. Give yourself reasons to be proud. Be like, you know what? I had a purple band on, you know, bicep curls today,
I did 2 reps.
and I did however many reps. And then I turned around and did a purple band on my triceps. Holy smokes, how did I do that? That is something to be proud of, and it should be celebrated. So find those little goals along the way and acknowledge them and be proud of yourself for them. Don't just keep thinking, oh, I'm still not in that dress. Think about the other goals. Think about these things that can make yourself proud and be proud of them. Please, you deserve it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So just kind of recap, like you said, we're going a little bit longer. I was kind of looking for 20. We're about 6 minutes over, so that's okay. But just kind of a recap. Again, this whole video was kind of about how to really shape your body and hone in, give yourself that hourglass look, you know, that illusion of a smaller waist. Obviously, first and foremost, we talked about making sure your nutrition is on point. Okay, following a healthy diet, making sure you're getting in adequate amounts of protein, carbohydrates, and fats. All 3 of them are important. Don't try and cut out any of them. Okay, you've got to have them. That's all I'm going to leave on that one. If you guys have more questions, reach out to us for your specific caloric intake needs and things like that. We'll be happy to help you. I'll put a link somewhere, up or down, to schedule like a one-on-one if you guys have questions on that stuff. Second was stop training your obliques so much. Stop training your obliques, stop training your abs so much. We're getting them enough, okay? Stop asking. There's no spot reduction. It's not a miracle. It's not just gonna all of a sudden shrink up, okay? So stop doing it as much as you are, okay? What was the next one? Then the other one was just training the specific muscle groups that you guys need to bring up. So hitting your shoulders, especially the outer head with lateral raises and upright rows, hitting the width of the back with pull downs, pull ups, making sure you're doing those negative repetitions, being okay with hitting failure, okay? Taking those small victories, making sure on the lower half that you guys are working, you know, those narrow squats, you're hitting, you know, leg extensions are gonna build the quads as well, and then working the glutes with your fire hydrants, donkey kicks, and the list goes on in the exercises that you could do, but target those specific muscle groups. Again, I'm gonna cycle right back to number 1 with making sure your nutrition's on point, because if you don't have that, the rest of what we talked about isn't gonna matter. So keep getting that nutrition, keep working. Don't be afraid of these. These are great, okay? Especially if you don't normally use them. I promise you, if you try it and you walk out of the gym having,
Not as scary as you think.
yeah, if you walk out of the gym having hit, you know, 3 or 4 reps with a purple band on an exercise you normally do like red, I promise you should feel very, very good about that. And let us know. We'll celebrate with you. Okay, that's awesome. Very good success. So we're gonna leave you guys on that note. We hope to see you guys very soon. Keep pushing, keep crushing it, keep getting after it, set those goals, take those wins as they come. Good work, guys. We'll see you soon.